Yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, your two favorite black people on the planet Earth itself. We're back. We didn't leave. You see the living legend Larry wearing one of my t-shirts. You can get one of those at shoplifegains.com if you want one. You also see me wearing Black Lives Matters. You can get one of those at shoplifegains.com if you want to get one of those. And we're going to give people an opportunity to come on and get into the show because I know we don't normally go on Thursday. So we're going to chit chat for a few minutes and see what's up until people get in here. So living legend, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. I wish I had a fly swatter last night and then someone would let me just go off on Pence's head because
man,
that fly landed on his head and stayed there.
You would go there, but you know what, man? That fly took one for the team. You know his ass probably got coronavirus by now. He took one for the team. Team Fly. He's somewhere probably laid over with coronavirus as we speak.
Oh, my brother said that was one of those Russian mini drones feeding him answers.
Could have been. It could have definitely been one of those. But I mean, the fly stole the show.
Yeah.
But here's the sad thing, Larry. Aren't flies only attracted to stinky shit like bullshit? I mean, that fly ain't think about going over there getting on Kamala at all.
No. Kamala, you remember the last time? You remember when Obama was in that interview and that fly was buzzing around and he did some straight up Wu-Tang
Jedi. He went Jedi on it, but I know you don't think Pence was going to be able to do that.
Oh really? No, Pence was up there. Pence felt comfortable. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is where the flies should be." You know?
Because Pence was saying so much bullshit. The fly was like, "I'm landing on some shit." So that's what happened with Pence. And in the event, we've got people lining up in here, and let me salute everybody as y'all are lining up. Muchella, who hangs with the fella, she's in the building. Mooch. Stanley Powell, DeAndre Lucas, 351 Cleveland. He's a regular. John Doe, man, it's a bunch of John Does out there. Chris P is in the building. And everybody else that's watching that didn't chime in, we want to salute you guys for keeping coming back. Danny Girl is in the building. Hey to you. Ness R is in the building. We appreciate the love, everybody. Go ahead.
Danny Girl, are you the same Danny Girl that came on my live stream a few weeks back and won a prize? Because if you are, you never actually got back to me with your address. So I shipped out all my prizes yesterday and I didn't have your address. So if that's you, just know that you need to reach out when you win something. So
right.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to get that out before I forgot. I saw our name come through there.
My folk Buzz, who always super chat. OG 703. Official Richard Kilpatrick, what's up? Kendall Suggs from the 252. That's back where I come from. DJ something. Hashtag Tariq too dangerous. And
Tariq too dangerous.
Tariq is too. I mean, I'm serious, man. They making his butt a clone of Ghost. So let's go on ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the platform today for us, we're going to talk about power for about 10, 15 minutes. And then the rest is all politics. So strap on your seatbelts, put on your mask if you're standing too close to somebody, and let's do this. So, Larry, this was like one of the main bumpers they did for the trailer for episode 6. Take a look at this. They put the chess pieces in line with the king in the middle. And then it has 2 queens. Now, if I play chess, I think you said you learned how to play chess too. It doesn't have 2 queens. But if this is highlighting what's to come, what do you think is actually saying? Now, I couldn't really tell if that was Lauren and Diana who's on the end. Somebody said that it was Lauren is one bishop and Diana's the other bishop. That can't be Diana on the other side. I know we got Braden and we got Kane as your rooks. And then for the knights, we got Cooper Sacks and Meth McLean. And then the queens, as you can see, Mary
Yeah.
J. and Tariq's mama. Larry, expand only the way you can expand. And mind you, you don't plagiarize like that bum ass Jabari.
I couldn't tell who was next to Sax on the other side.
Let me pull it back up. Let me pull it because that's the mystery to me too. So I'm thinking that's Braden, but
well, no, I see Braden on the far end.
Yeah, Braden's
a knight.
He's a rook. Braden's a rook.
The rook.
Yeah,
wait, I'm trying to remember. Wait, it goes king, queen, bishop,
knight, rook.
Knight, rook. Right. Okay. So I see Braden as the rook. But who's the knight on the Monet side?
I don't know. It looks like a dude. People been trying to say that's Diana. That is not Diana.
No, that's not Diana. It doesn't even look like a woman. And Diana's more brown skinned, and that's a real sort of
light skin.
That's a real fair skin type person.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The other side I could definitely see Tasha, Davis.
Lauren.
What do you call it? Meth McLean.
Yeah, Meth McLean. Everybody's telling me that's Lauren, and then you got Braden.
And then Braden.
Yeah. So
that's interesting that they only had. It looks like on Monet's side they only had one of her people because it looks like they had Monet and then Sax and then the mystery person and then Kane on the end.
Right.
I'm doing that Kane.
Now let's look at it one more time because somebody said that could be Drew. That is not Drew beside Cooper Sax.
Nah, that's not Drew.
That is not Drew beside Cooper Sax. So
I mean, it could be a little prelude into something, a character we haven't met yet.
Could be.
Or maybe it's Simon Stern's boyfriend or something.
Could be him too. I didn't think about Simon Stern's boyfriend, but it could definitely be him. But what is it saying that they don't even have Diana on the board at all?
Yeah, I think that just goes to say that she's not even, she's a pawn, I guess, at that point. If that's really what it is, she's just a pawn.
Okay.
Because all the pieces they showed on there are named pieces. Everybody else, I guess, in the series are just pawns.
Wow. So you mean to tell me that Diana and Drew are pawns?
Maybe right now, looks like it. Just pawns.
Damn.
I mean, if that's what they're trying to tell us, if by showing that, it looks like everybody that's not on that board that's in the show is just a pawn, which is really interesting, showing that what's his name? Braden made the board. That was interesting.
Braden's up there. Well, I mean, so obviously by having Cooper Sax punk ass Nancy on the board, he's going to be used. I think the way they've got this picture scripted, Tariq is the king and he's using everybody that we've seen on the board. So then that leads you to question which queen is going to be the most powerful, or are they going to be equal? Because it's like you got one on this side of Tariq pulling him one way. Then you got the other queen on this side pulling the king this way. Which queen is going to win out?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I had to choose a squad, I'm going with the squad on the side with Braden and them. Because when you look at that squad, you have Tasha, who we already know is smart. She's the one that taught. She was saying that she was the one that taught Ghost and Tommy the game. She knows the game, so she knows how to play it.
She can wash the money. She know how to wash the money.
Right.
She got bodies.
And then you have Cooper. I mean, then you have Meth McLean, who is one of the best criminal defense lawyers. So we know that if anybody gets in trouble, he can get them up out of that. True. And then we have Lauren, who's obviously smart. She's super intelligent, so she just might need to learn the game. That's all it is. I'm assuming anything she needs to learn, she can learn it.
So Larry, I got to stop you right there on Lauren. Are you saying that they're going to convert Lauren to this life of crime?
Oh yeah, Lauren knows. I mean,
What?
you look at the fact
What?
that she likes Tariq. She knows
What?
Tariq is sort of a bad. She knows he's sort of a bad boy. He's always showing up late. He's got all these issues with his family. And when they went to dinner and they were up there, and her dad was saying, "Oh, we've been following your case, your family's case in the newspaper. We have been for some time." They sit down and they talk about this. She knows that Tariq's family comes from a sort of a sordid background with the dad who's involved in and possible underworld criminal activities. So she knows that Tariq is not just some square biz dude. She knows that she's getting herself a dude that goes to a good school, but sort of a bad boy. He's probably got more than what she's bargaining for. But I think she likes that. And I think she's probably going to get turned out by Tariq, and he's going to ask her to do something. But before she does, she's going to get wrapped up with him emotionally a little bit, and then Tariq's going to ask her to do something. She's going to agree to do it, and the next thing she knows, she's going to be wrapped up in all that mess, and she's going to end up liking it.
So let me break this down for you then. Do you think it's safe to say that everybody we just seen in this picture, if you were just popping in, this is the picture we're discussing. We've broken it down. Larry, is it safe to say that everybody you see that's matching up with a chess piece is going to make it the next season?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we know that Tariq's safe. There's no reason to think that Meth McLean's going out. We know he needs to be safe because he has to continue with Tasha's defense. There's no reason right now for Lauren to get touched at all. She hasn't done anything, so she'll be there. Braden, I don't see anybody touching Braden. Braden's got that white privilege protection around him. No one would dare touch him right now. I mean, the police didn't even want to touch him. So if Braden gets taken out, Braden's going to probably have to get taken out by someone that's way higher up on the food chain, or somebody who's so low on the food chain they just don't know or don't care.
Right.
So, and then on the other side, you have that same thing going on a little bit with Monet. Monet's safe because she's Tejada's, wife. And if you mess with Tejada's wife, Tejada's going to have to come at you with everything just to save face. Even if he doesn't care about her, he's going to have to save face just to protect his own image. And then you have Cooper Sacks, who's an ADA. There's no one's touching. I mean, actually, I think he's a AG at this point. No one's gonna. Well, he's still an ADA because he's not the head AG, but he's leading up the New York division. No one's touching him. I mean, that's a federal crime. The whole government will come down on you with a vengeance. And then we don't know who that is next to him. So I don't know. I'm assuming because we don't know who that person is, they're going to be introduced probably in the next episode or two, And so that person's probably safe because they're not going to bring him in, put him on the poster as this integral part of the story, and then just wipe him out real quick.
Right.
And Kane, I think Kane's going to be there for the long haul because I think Kane's going to flip sides. I think he's going to end up going over to Tariq's side. So I think he'll be safe. So I think everybody else is not safe. All the Diana, Drew, Braden's brother. I think all those people are at risk of getting killed. The cop. Oh, that could be the cop.
Hell no, that's not the cop. Let's take a look again. Let's look again. That's not the cop.
That could be the cop.
No, man. No. Whoever that is, he's a little bit more bulkier than the cop. That's not the cop. That's not the cop. Definitely ain't the cop. But before I get into the next power discussion, let me shout out my folk who just super chat, super sticker, D'Angelo Washington. I appreciate that, homie, because it'd be hard on the player up here sometime. And my folk Buzz 703, who always hold me down. Now, let me see. What can I give you guys combined to say thank you, to make you laugh, to say, hey, when you super chat me, I recognize you. Oh, okay. I'm going to go back to this one. This one made Larry laugh the last time I did it.
We just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice. Practice? We're talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We talking about practice, man.
Practice? Practice? We're not talking about the game. We're talking about practice.
Practice. I appreciate y'all for that super chat, man. And y'all ain't just practicing super chatting. Y'all are super chatting, and I appreciate it. So let's talk about this.
Since we're on the basketball thing for a hot second, what's up with your Miami squad?
We getting that ass beat. That's what's up with us. We in there getting that ass beat like a toddler who got caught eating out the cookie jar.
I told you don't mess with my LA team, man.
Man, stop it. I ain't never heard you say anything about sports since we've been
LA.
It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm from Greenville. Do you hear me supporting the Greenville Hornets? No.
Because you know better.
No. Man. Golly. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got one more thing we want to cover in regards to power. Then we're going to move on to the politics because there's some rough stuff out there. We want to equip you guys with knowledge and some entertainment. One thing that's very peculiar about that splice and the chessboard, they have Tariq being the king for what we're going to assume is his clan, but also the king for the Tejadas. So does that mean, Larry, somehow, some way, Reek is going to be able to take out the king of the Tejadas, which is Lorenzo?
Maybe. I mean, let's be real. We're only seeing one king on that board. So it really, when you look at it, it's going to be two teams fighting basically to save and preserve the one king. That's it. Tariq is safe no matter what. Mm-hmm. So if he wants to go after Tejada, he's going after Tejada. He's going to end up okay. If Tejada wants to come after him, Tariq is still going to be okay. If Tariq decides to let Tejada keep doing his thing, Tariq's still going to be okay. In every scenario, Tariq is still going to be okay.
So I think it's very safe. Damn, Kato, be more careful. Kendall in the building with a $20 super chat. You know what? Go. I'm gonna have to give you two. Okay, let me. You get two back to back. So for such a generous super chat, let me give you this one first. Okay, so that's number one.
Down, like what happened?
Don't twirl from a pole that ain't secured to a ceiling. That's number one. And number two for you is this one right here, because what you done is very sexy.
I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band, Sexual Chocolate. I believe the children are our future. Thank you. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Love of all inside of me. Yeah. Sexy Chocolate.
God damn, that boy can sing.
You must be crazy.
He good.
You must be crazy.
And damn, Kendall can super chat $20. We appreciate you, family. Thanks for the support. We try to come up here and make sure we're consistent in bringing you guys as much entertainment with good real life information. I know a lot of people don't do it on YouTube because they're afraid of growth. They're afraid of who they might offend. But me and Larry, we know our heart is in the right place. We know we're trying to support our people and all people as best we can. And we appreciate it when y'all super chat us like that. It keeps us going. We really, really appreciate that. All right, Larry, last point on power. Then we got to move on to some real deal, serious issues going on in the country we live in that we have thought about escaping. Okay.
Before we go on real quick, you know what could solve all of Tariq's problems with this? All he needs to do.
He called in Tommy. He called in Tommy and say he's sorry.
Well, Tommy would help him. Tommy would definitely help him because Tommy would come in there and do some regulating. He would probably help Tariq get his connect set up, so he didn't have to keep worrying about dealing with Monet and them. He would probably get him a steady connect. But Tommy brings in his own host of problems. Even though he'll solve some, he'll bring some more in. But if he really wanted to solve all of his problems and do it definitively once and for all he has to do is call in Killmonger. Killmonger will come in there and get rid of all of his competition. He will liberate him and all of the other folks out there that have been held down by our oppressors. And Killmonger will come out and just put his place. And Killmonger is the rightful ruler of Wakanda. He'll just come in there and politely take Tariq off that throne, set him over in a different position, and take his place, because he is the rightful ruler, as he should be.
For those of you that are new, this is what Larry's asking for. For those of you that are new, just sit through this.
Yeah, go ahead and burn all that.
My king, we cannot do that. It is our tradition.
When I tell you to do something, I mean that shit. Burn it all!
Burn it all!
Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the power discussion for today is over. We will be back tomorrow. And we will be back tomorrow. We'll have a little bit of a power discussion. And we'll cover the finale of The Boys. I think Larry's going to watch it tonight. I know I am. Yeah. And we'll cover that. But now we've got to talk about real life stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 26 days away from this election. By all accounts, things are looking good for the blue wave. However, don't get complacent. And let me start by saying the FBI 2 years ago came out and said the greatest threat to the nation was what, Larry?
Militant white males.
Okay. With that backdrop, I want you guys to take a look at this, because this happened to one of my favorite politicians, Gretchen Whitmer. She's the governor of Michigan, the state where my wife comes from, the same place where T Streams comes from, and they love her in that state, so much so they made a rap song about her, and she enjoyed it. But I want you guys to take a quick look at what has happened to her and why the FBI said that was the greatest domestic threat to our country.
And we're following a lot of breaking news today. Now, this out of Michigan, where the FBI says that they stopped a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. 6 men have been arrested and charged. Joining me now with more on all of this, NBC News investigations correspondent Tom Winter. Tom?
Andrea, the plot and the arrest today being announced by federal authorities in a case that's being charged out of the Western District of Michigan. 6 men, as you referred to, identified as Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Ty Garbin, Caleb Franks, Daniel Harris, and Brandon Concerta. 5 of those men, with the exception of Barry Croft, all from Michigan. Croft is from Delaware, charged with a single count of conspiracy to commit kidnapping. This investigation, Andrea, according to the charging documents, began in early 2020 when the FBI began monitoring social media, in monitoring discussions of people that talked about the violent, quote, violent overthrow of government and certain governmental leaders. This investigation progressed through several months. The FBI, according to the charging documents today, was able to use undercover FBI agents as well as confidential human sources, more commonly referred to as informants, in this investigation. One of those informants came from a militia group in Michigan, Andrea, and as a result of that, they were able to speak with this person who came forward because they were concerned that the militia was seeking the addresses of police officers and wanted to kill police officers. One of the militia groups that was kind of associated or tried to be brought in to be recruited by the people that were charged today in this plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer was allegedly involved in that Second Amendment rally, one of those Second Amendment rallies that we saw at the Capitol in Michigan. Now, an important note here. Based on the charging documents and what we've seen, there was no imminent threat to the governor because this group was being well monitored by the FBI. They had these confidential human sources. They had undercover agents. And so, Andrea, it appears that there was no imminent threat to her, but certainly lurid details and, according to the charging documents, recorded conversations that tie all these men to this plot and some very disturbing details inside that complaint.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
Larry, how can I encapsulate this in words without sounding very angry? Okay. You vilify black people who go to protest. Don't show up with guns. We don't come out there looking like we about to go to World War III. You know, we just come out with signs, and you're always telling us to be peaceful and shit. Okay. But yet we have an administration and leadership that is inciting, encouraging, promoting white propaganda bullshit. Now, have y'all not forgot about when Trump was running against Hillary Clinton and they made up that damn lie that somebody in Washington, D.C. on behalf of Hillary Clinton was running a pizza parlor that had children underneath in the basement doing dirty things to them, and a white dude from North Carolina drives up there, shoot up the place. Have y'all not forgot about that? That was pushed on Fox News too. And
let's not forget the pizza place doesn't even have a basement.
How many places in Washington, D.C., Virginia area have basements anyway?
Well, they have there's plenty of basements out here, but this pizza place does not have a basement. They're talking about that there was a child
trafficking ring,
sex ring, pedophile sex ring run by elites in the basement of this pizza place, and the pizza place doesn't. I mean, it's just. I mean, I've been by there. I've been by that pizza place. It's a regular old pizza place. You drive by, it's nothing special about it. There's no basement in there. The whole thing is ridiculous. It was dangerous. It is part of that whole thing that's been going on with that QAnon. And for those of you who don't know, QAnon just got booted off of Facebook and Twitter, and they are basically scanning the interwebs to scrub them clean so they don't have a platform to go and spread their lie.
Not only QAnon, but the Proud Boys. There's one called Alabac. I mean, there's a bunch of these little white nationalist groups who get their rocks off by buying guns, buying bullets, acting like they're going to do something. And
they're dangerous. And people get up there and say, "Oh, well, you know, they're squelching people's First Amendment rights." And people still need. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this again, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you don't understand what the First Amendment is and what it does, I suggest before you run around talking and sounding stupid, saying that someone's infringing upon your First Amendment rights, go read what the First Amendment actually does for you. What the First Amendment does, it protects your freedom of speech from the government. It does not mean private industry cannot can't shut you up. If you're on a private platform, which Facebook and Twitter is, then they can do what they want to do with you. They can say, nope, you can't be on here. They can only show some of your posts. They can show all of your posts. They can do whatever they want. So I would suggest before you go sounding stupid that you read and find out what the First Amendment actually says. And these groups that are out there that are being shut down, their pages are being shut down. They're not being allowed to promote their propaganda. In the past, organizations have gotten out there. You've had these racist groups out there in the past, but they've been relegated to the fringes of the internet and society in general. And that way they didn't have a platform to go out there and recruit and infect the minds of other people. But when you have a platform like Facebook and Twitter that can reach billions of people around the world, you have people up there that are spreading lies and they're making stuff up, and the algorithm picks up the interest because people are attracted to crap. They're like that fly on Pence's head. They are attracted to shit. People are often attracted to shit. And
that fly, Larry, that fly was one of ours. It took one for the team. That I don't care what I say. That fly was taking one for the Biden-Harris team. He had a little flag up there. He was trying to see what was really going on. That fly took a coronavirus for the team.
I think that was a miniaturized Russian drone feeding Pence answers. But in any case, my point being is people are attracted to that stuff, and it starts to push it further and further and further and further up the algorithm, and more people see it. People that normally would be just good, regular individuals in America get influenced by that stuff. The next thing you know, you have a bunch of people out there with QAnon flags spouting, which to everybody else sounds like complete and utter nonsense, but they have convinced themselves that this is true and right. And then it gets dangerous because then people start talking about taking physical actions against people in the world, and they don't understand that what they're acting upon is a complete fabrication and lie. So
well, that same method you were talking about is what got us the president right now. That's how we got him. Because not only is this infiltrating with these white militia groups, you don't think that other countries is looking at this shit saying we know how to manipulate America because we can manipulate these people. We can keep these people upset. We can keep these people screaming First Amendment right and all that bull jive. And if we screw with these people enough, we can influence the election because America's the only developed place that continues to run their election based on some dumbass antiquated system called the Electoral College. Simple as that. And I'm very happy that Gretchen Whitmer is safe. She's a rising star politician. She has done right by Michigan. And when you've seen a picture of these 6 clowns, they look like they all came from a city that only had 1.5 stoplights. I'm talking straight Opie from Andy Griffith's show. All of them look just like that. And they had that demented, angry for nothing look. One guy even said, Larry, the real reason he was mad is because she kept the gyms locked down. Like, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it not only when these type of things get exposed, it not only exposes how evil they are, it also exposes just how undereducated they are. I don't want to say they're dumb. I'm going to say they're undereducated. It really leans to the country dumb hick stereotype. This guy is about to try to commit a kidnapping because he's mad he can't go to the gym. And when you look at this picture, it don't look like he's been to a gym in 6 fucking years anyway. I mean, come on, man. Bruh, we got to do better.
I mean, the reality of it is that you have people out there that are willing to be manipulated because whether you want to say they're weak-minded or whatever, they're just willing to be manipulated because they have nothing else in their life that's good and meaningful. And so they latch on to things that are terrible and bad and reflect the views and what's already in their heart. And if what's in their heart is meanness and evilness and spitefulness, I mean, you have all these various elements. You have the whole racial element where she's one of these politicians that's beloved by minorities out there. Mm-hmm. And as someone put in the comment section, she's invited to the cookout. So there's a lot of white people out there that are angry about that. There's a lot of men out there that don't like the fact that she's a woman. And so she's in power. On top of that, she's an attractive woman. So that just makes it even worse for some of them, you know?
But here's the thing they didn't think about, Larry. You know who is the vice governor? A black lady is the vice governor in that state. So you take out
lieutenant governor, I think.
Yeah, lieutenant governor, excuse me, is a black woman.
Yeah.
So what was y'all gonna do about that?
Yeah, good question. You know, good question. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, they're just, you know, people are just gonna have to learn to accept certain things in this country and in this world because the country is changing. You know, this country is changing. The demographics of the country are changing. The politics are changing, you know, and it's just unfortunate because what happens is it seems like on the right, it always seems to be something where they always have to lean on violence. It doesn't seem like they always either want to lean on violence or they want to lean on cheating. They can never seem to win on their ideas alone. They always have to win by violence and cheating. And, you know, I mean, you have Trump that got help from the Russians to get elected. You have Bush that had to get, you know, that was selected by the Supreme Court because he lost his election. I mean, it's really unfortunate that this all has to happen. And then you have all these, you know, you have Republicans. Every time the Republicans want to talk about voter irregularities and cheating with voting, and then you go look at the cases where there actually has been voter fraud, it's always on behalf of the Republicans.
Every time.
So what it really saying is that they know that there's attempts at voter fraud out there because they're the ones that are attempting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's why they're worried, because they're thinking to themselves, there's no way that the Democrats can't be doing this. We're doing it. We're trying it. It seems to be easy for us. Why aren't they doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because the Democrats actually have integrity. I mean, the Republicans are nothing right now but a bunch of sort of fanatical, you know, flip-floppers. You have people like Lindsey Graham who say one thing and then turn around and say the exact opposite. You have people out there that are just spewing complete and utter conspiratorial nonsense. It's just, I mean, in all reality, you have a Republican Party that has given its soul to Donald Trump, who cares nothing about them as individuals or as a party. And at some point, there has to come a reckoning. And you know, I was talking about this earlier with my wife. I hope that I don't want our country to go down the road that some other countries have, like those so-called banana republics they call them. But I feel like when this election is come and gone, when Biden and Harris are in office, I feel like there really has to be a true reckoning. Like there needs to be people that are arrested and prosecuted for their crimes that they've done during this administration. There needs to be a commission set up like they had with 9/11. They need to produce a report about all of the crimes and stuff that were committed during the Trump administration, because you need to make an example of these people so it doesn't happen again on either side. I don't want Republicans to do it again. I don't want Democrats to do it ever, but it needs to happen. The punishments need to come down quick and swiftly so that people are made an example of and it doesn't happen again. And there's going to be people upset. There's going to be feathers ruffled, and people are going to say that the Democrats are just simply punishing their political opposition. And I hope that message, it can be set aside a bit with a true bipartisan commission report that shows the crimes that were committed, and then those people who committed those crimes can be prosecuted. So,
well, we're going to definitely need that, because we've got to get people to start thinking twice about their BS, because it seems to me like the Republicans have been not only projecting what they do, but lying about it. I mean, when I think Ponzi scheme, I think the greatest party in America that does that is the Republicans. They're great. They always want you to fall under the veil of the Constitution, religion, and all this other horse shit, while they up there doing everything that goes against those principles behind closed doors. But they want you to behave in an orderly manner so they can get their damn rocks off. The bucks needs to stop with Joe Biden. Now, Larry, let's talk about that debate. I'm calling it Flygate, because there was a fly that got in there, and boy, he smelled some shit, Larry. I wish they should have had Samuel L. Jackson moderating that debate, because nobody says flies to shit like Samuel L. Jackson. But let's just kind of go through the rundown of what happened in the debate, and I got this for y'all to take a quick look at.
And I want everyone to know who puts on the uniform of law enforcement every day that President Trump and I stand with you.
Mike Pence's left eye, as well as a plucky little fly, were the breakout stars of the vice presidential debate on Wednesday night, both becoming hot topics on social media. Pence's left eye appeared to be bloodshot, and in light of the outbreak of COVID-19 at the White House over the last week, Twitter lit up with journalists, epidemiologists, doctors, and Hollywood stars wondering if the vice president had conjunctivitis, or rather pink eye, one of the symptoms of the novel coronavirus. Thousands of people, including the likes of former news anchor Katie Couric and former McCain campaign manager Steve Schmidt, openly questioned whether the vice president had conjunctivitis and linked to medical articles and news articles on pink eye being a possible symptom of COVID-19. At least 27 people in President Donald Trump's orbit have tested positive for the coronavirus amid an outbreak at the White House. However, Pence has thus far tested negative. With the debate between Pence and Senator Kamala Harris proceeding in a relatively civil manner in comparison to the first chaotic presidential debate between Trump and Joe Biden, social media was looking for any distraction to let the time fly. And oh, it did. Later in the debate, Pence's eye was outshined with a fly landing on the vice president's head for several minutes, which ensued a more lighthearted social media conversation around the debate. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden even got in on the jokes with a link to flywillvote.com. And Stephen Colbert couldn't resist a jab or two at the incident during the Late Show.
Listen, all jokes aside, thoughts and prayers to that fly's family. It's got to quarantine for 2 weeks now.
And in addition to even becoming a fundraising point for the Biden campaign, which immediately started selling Truth Over Flies fly swatters for $10, the fly inspired a slew of brand new tribute Twitter accounts and was even brought up on some news networks' post-debate coverage. For more on this story, fly on over to thr.com. For the Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Neha Joy.
Oh my goodness.
man.
Lord have mercy. Well, the fly stole the show, but I had said to my wife too, I said, Pence must have done some cocaine or some kind of upper, because that can make your eye bloodshot too. And
I was wondering what was up with that eye. I pointed out to my wife at first. She was like, she didn't see it, and then she looked at it. She was like, okay, there's definitely a problem with his eye. I didn't realize that conjunctivitis was a symptom of COVID-19. So maybe he does have it.
They're still learning. They're still learning stuff about this virus every day, but people just act like it's the damn flu. When Dr. Fauci came out today and said this is way worse than the flu. But anyhow, once you get past the fly and you get past Mike Pence cocaine eye, let's talk about the debate. Of course, I think. Go ahead.
Before we go too much into the debate, let me just say that over the last two debates that we've had, we've seen some really piss poor moderation going on there. And you
think the lady was piss poor?
I thought she attempted to be good, but I think her attempt was valiant, but it just wasn't up to par. And
do you think she did better than
Gwen Ifill? I really think that when we saw moderators like Gwen Ifill from PBS, she was really, really good at her job, and she was really good at keeping these politicians on track. We saw her for years moderating debates, and I think she would have been really good in a debate like tonight, or even the one that we saw last week with Trump and Biden.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the moderator was better than Chris Wallace?
No, I guess not. And here's the reason why, is that I feel like she still let Pence get out of control a bit and let him keep going way over on time. And she had to keep repeating herself over and over and over and over again. And the debate was not nearly as hostile. The debate was not nearly as out of control as the one the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And yet she still couldn't maintain control of it, which was really unfortunate. I feel like if that had been, like, I can only imagine what the debate last week would have looked like if she was the moderator, because she was having trouble controlling Harris and Pence during this debate, and they weren't even nearly as bad. Pence was bad because he kept on talking and speaking and going on. I mean, Harris did her part to simply keep reminding him, I'm talking here. I'm talking here. I'm not done yet, And I mean, I heard some pundits on TV saying this is really something that resonates with women, because women have often been in situations where men start talking over them all of a sudden, and they have to stop and just take it, or they have to seem like they're being bitchy by telling them, I'm not done yet. Stop talking until I'm done. And so for her to have to keep saying that to him resonated with women. But my thought is that you are the moderator. You should have told him, be quiet. You have already had your turn. You are now going to let her keep, to have her time. And if he wasn't, they should have just clicked his mic. They should have muted his mic. When he went over on time and she kept saying, Mr. Vice President, you're over on time, and he just keeps going, she should just hit that damn mute button. And that should be it. If you have to act like a child, then you have to be treated like a child. That's what we do with kids when they won't get off their damn phones. You have 5 more minutes on your phone. Texting, talking, texting, talking. It's been 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 more so you can wrap things up. 5 minutes go by. Talking, talking, and they're still not done. So what do? You grab the phone and you put it away. Because if they can't act like adults, then you have to treat them like children. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. She should have just hit the damn mute button or something. If she didn't have that ability, then I don't know what she should have done, but she should have done something, because that debate was not even out of control, and she couldn't control the little bit that was starting to go off the rails with that. I mean, it was just, I was disappointed in her. I wish she was way more assertive than what she was. I felt like she started to get a little more assertive towards the end of the debate, but by then, the tone had been set. So,
well, let's talk about Kamala. And every time he would say those dumb ass, no logic statements. Did you see the way Kamala looked at him like you at the black folk cookout? You done brought a white girl who brought potato salad that ain't good. Kamala was giving him them looks like, I think the looks Kamala was giving Pence was the look that America is giving this whole administration. Would you stop lying to us? Tell us the truth. Listen to science. And that was one point in time in that exchange that they had where they asked Pence about climate control. Did he believe in global warming? And he kept saying, we just going to believe what the science says. Did you see the way Kamala was looking at him like, you MFers don't believe nothing that come out of a science book? The looks Kamala was giving him won the debate for me. But the substance that she was giving was rock solid. The only place that they keep trying to stick them on is if they're going to pack the Supreme Court or not. And even her answer for that was good, but I felt like she could have gave a little bit of a better answer, but the answer she gave was fine. But they keep trying to stick them on packing the Supreme Court, and they don't really answer the question. And I'm fine with that because you know what? If they decide to do it, oh well. Your president has already came out and said elections have consequences. Well, damn it, this is going to be a consequence if they decide to add 2 more people to that Supreme Court of their own ilk. Now, what did you think of her performance, Larry?
Well, I thought her performance, in whole was decent. It was. I thought her performance as a whole was decent. I felt like she could have pushed back more forcefully on things that Pence was saying. I think there were a number of opportunities that she had to simply come out and just say, that's just not true. That's just factually untrue. And that is a lie. And she just didn't do it. I felt like she was being too polite. I think she was trying to walk that razor's edge that women often have to walk of being tough, but not too tough. So they don't seem like they're being a bitch or in her case, an angry black woman.
Exactly. I was going to say, just call it what it is. Angry black woman. Just call it what it is.
Right. For black women, that's what it is. For white women, it's just being a bitch. But she was trying to watch that. She was trying to walk that razor's edge. And I think at some point you just have to say, damn the edge, and just simply saying, sir, that is factually untrue. I'm not going to allow you to sit here and lie to the American people and deceive them. That is factually untrue. I think she had the opportunity on numerous times to say that, and she just simply didn't do it. So I wish she would have, but I think her performance was pretty good. I think it was, it was a really pretty dry debate.
Yeah.
It was. Even if we hadn't seen that blood sport of a debate that we saw the week before, this one was still pretty doggone dry.
Which is fine. It doesn't have to be anything glamorous if you are the Democrats right now. You stick to the facts. You just had a president who had a super spreader event. He doesn't want to contact trace it. You just had an administration who lied about the severity of COVID-19. She just stick. You don't have to do any. She didn't need any zingers. She didn't need anything. Just stick to the facts. I felt like she done a real good job of looking into the camera and saying, America, we've lost 200 and some odd thousand people, but all of those 200 and some odd thousand people had other people at a table sitting with them who are suffering right now because they're gone.
Yeah,
we've got other people who have been sick from COVID that may have survived, but they are suffering from remnants of corona. And we have an administration who's going to court right now, which is why they're trying to pack it to remove health care for everybody. She done a good job.
Let me point this out about the whole point about the Supreme Court. Now, I know that a lot of the pundits on TV after this were saying, oh, she didn't answer that question. She should have answered, or she should have had a better answer for it. I do not think she should have given anything on that question.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think Harris should give an answer on that question. I don't think Biden should give an answer on that question. And the reason for that is, no matter what they say, the Trump administration is going to take that answer and they're going to make a campaign commercial on it. So it doesn't matter if they say yes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to expand the court. They're going to make a commercial out of it and try and call them sore losers and everything else. If they say no, we're not going to pack the court, then later if they decide that they are going to pack the court, well then they're going to turn around and say, oh, see, Biden and Harris said they weren't going to do it, and then here they are doing it. But let people not forget the decision on whether or not to expand the court or pack the court, as they want to call it. They're going to expand the court is not Biden and Harris's choice. It's up to Congress, and they are a separate branch of government. It's not up to the executive branch. It's up to Congress. Now, if they pass a law, yes, the president has to sign that bill, but if there's a veto-proof bill in the House and the Senate, the president doesn't have to worry about anything, because if there's enough people that it becomes veto-proof, then it's not up to the executive branch anyway. So, I mean, they can try and push this whole thing about, and that's what I really would have loved to have seen Kamala Harris say and Biden say if he's asked again, are you going to pack the court? Just simply say, that decision is not in the executive branch. That decision is in the legislative branch. That's up to Congress to decide if they're going to expand the court or not. I can't sign an executive decision and add 3 or 4 more justices. That has to come from Congress, and just leave it at that. You know?
Well, I mean, then the simple turnaround is, okay, Congress passes, are you going to sign the bill? I mean, I think that's,
come out and simply say, if there's a veto-proof vote on it, then sure, I'll pass it. What's the point? What's the point of not signing it if there's a veto-proof you vote on it? I have no choice. It's going to become law, and leave it at that. I mean, they're politicians. They are known for giving non-answers. Just give a non-answer that gets people to stop asking the question.
I don't think they're going to stop asking the question, because the Republicans want that narrative to be pushed. But anytime they would bring that up, I would just continue to simply say to them, you mean to tell me, as I look into the camera at millions of Americans looking at us, you really think that the American people are more concerned right now about your party trying to push through a Supreme Court nominee than they are about getting more coronavirus relief, which your president just came out and said no deals, because we need to get the Supreme Court through, which is him waving the white flag that he know his ass is done. He just shoved his thumb in the eye of the American people by saying something that's not going to have an impact on your life right now. And we're hurting right now. I would rather work on that than to get you guys some money to put in your pocket, feed your family, keep your health insurance going, keep you paying your rent, keep people that own apartments or whatever from losing those apartments. He just told all the American people that didn't get paid the last time, F you, I got to get this lady in office so that if I get in trouble, she and the rest of the people I done put in here is going to get me off. You guys let that sink in.
Yeah, and I think too that because our people from our generations below us, they don't have any memory of the hardship that people went through to be able to vote, both minorities and women, and all the crap that was put, all the barriers that were put before us. And when you start talking about the Supreme Court, you're talking about stuff like the Voting Rights Act that they are actively gutting in the using the Supreme Court to gut right now, and it needs to be reinforced. And you have things that I mean some of the ridiculousness that we couldn't even imagine people doing before, stuff like having poll taxes, having litmus tests to be eligible to vote.
Yes,
the whole voter ID thing that they have going on right now. Not to mention they had things before, like they had a case just recently, and I say recent, like a few years ago in Pennsylvania. They've been talking about in the news lately about a group of armed Republican people that went out there to the polling places and were basically out there as an intimidating force, and eventually they went to court and they had a decree saying you can't do this. There was like, I guess there were like federal poll watchers or something. There was some sort of some sort of federal decree, and it just expired. And so now we're back in a position where you have Trump out there telling his people to go out to the polls and be poll watchers. Well, he's telling people to go out there and do stuff that's illegal. You can't go out there and intimidate voters. You can't go into the polling places when you don't have the right to be in there unless you're voting or unless you're a poll worker. You can't just go in there with your guns and intimidate people, you know? So I think the Republicans have gotten this right in this sense. They have gone after the Supreme Court and tried to make sure they get their people on the Supreme Court because it seems like the Democrats either have tried to play things by the book and just figured, oh, the Republicans will do it too, and everything will play out fairly equally, or they don't realize how vitally important the Supreme Court is to our democracy. You know, you pass laws and the people want them. The people vote in politicians that will pass these laws. We get the laws passed, and then the Supreme Court turns around and invalidates them. Well, I mean, if you want to make sure that the laws that you put in place stay in place, you need Supreme Court justices that are going to look at things in the way that you look at the world as well, so that you don't have you don't have Supreme Court justices getting up there and saying, "Oh no, Obamacare is not constitutional." Well, there was earlier court rulings that say that it was, and now they're up there going back with different case after different case after different case, trying to tear apart because they can't get rid of it as a whole. So they're trying to tear down piece after piece after piece. They get one piece stricken from it, and another piece stricken, and then another piece stricken, and then they say, well, without those pieces, the rest of it's not constitutional. So then they end up having to strike the whole thing. That's where they're trying to go with it.
Exactly.
That's where they're trying to go with it. So if you don't get Supreme Court justices on the court that have your same worldview, then you're going to end up in a world where we don't really, a country where that doesn't represent us as the voters. And the reality of it is, they say that it's supposed to be a non-political position, and we see at times where they do act based on what the Constitution says. Sometimes they go. We've seen things. We've seen stuff like Chief Justice Roberts rule in such a way that people would think, oh, that's more of a left-leaning or a liberal sort of position, when he's just simply saying, no, that's just the way I view it constitutionally. But it doesn't always go that way. And oftentimes you have justices like Justice Thomas that is a far-right conservative justice that is going to seem to rule along party lines.
Every time, it never fails. And here's the sad thing: that old Uncle Tom do that shit, and they don't like him. I mean, they like what he does for them, but they is counting the days down where they can switch him out if they can get his ass up out of there.
And he's the oldest justice. He's likely going to end up being replaced by a Democrat. If Biden wins this, I mean, I'm not saying that he's going out in the next 4 years or not. I have no idea.
He's not saying that. He's talking about age and attrition, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. I have no idea when he's, what his health is like. So, I mean, but if Biden wins, you're talking about another 4 years. So, I mean, maybe he'll make it 4 years. And I'm not talking about just being alive. I'm talking about people actually being able to retire, to perform their duties. And so if you can't perform your duties, then at some point you need to step down. And don't get me wrong, it's a lifetime appointment. And there have been plenty of justices over the course of time where people have said they weren't even there mentally. They didn't have the mental faculties any longer to do the job. And basically their rulings and everything else were being written by their clerks. And, and it's still, I mean, it's not like that these clerks aren't writing all these decisions anyways, but at least they have their justice in the room, giving them their thoughts and what they want that ruling to be. But, you have some of these justices that are old and shouldn't be there anymore. And their clerks are basically, writing all their rulings and then just having the justice sign it. And that's not the way the court should function.
Nope. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll do a little bit of boys season finale. We've got to talk about that. We might throw in a power here and there, but more importantly, we're going to see what else you guys are watching between now and December, and we're going to figure out some other shows we can catapult to keep this thing going. So we'll be back tomorrow. Stay sexy as hell. Keep wearing your mask, and if you can, go vote right now. They are saying 5.6 million people have already sent in ballots, and that's up, I think they said, since 1918, 65%. I mean, just a huge jump. So be somebody that's doing that, and the more that people vote, the more it leans Democratic. So until that next Sexy as Hell video, we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.